Welcome to episode 26 of the Hot Mess Roundtable. I'm Lauren, and I'm a hot mess this week because I missed my daughter's 18-month appointment this morning, which is unlike me, but it was the first day of school for her, and I just was focused on taking her to school and completely forgot that she had her checkup.
Oh, no.
So, yeah, I'll be on the naughty list at the doctor's office, but
I don't have no-shows.
Yeah, I know.
Not good. It's not good. Have you called and apologized and groveled?
No, I'm going to call tomorrow.
Yeah.
And reschedule.
Yeah, you know, they track that.
Oh, I know. I'm well aware. Yeah.
Well, my name is Jordan, and I am a hot mess this week because of salad.
Yeah. Why?
Okay.
Salad?
Salad. Okay, here's the deal. I saw TikTok. So I love salad. It's like one of my favorite foods. I saw a TikTok of a mom who has like 7 kids. So I have no kids. It's just me and my husband. My husband barely eats vegetables. So really it's just me, right? Eating the salad. But this mom with 7 kids, all her kids eat salads. And so she bought like basically like a Subway counter style, like steel thing that you open up and has all the containers and like has a full on industrial salad bar in her kitchen. Mm-hmm. And I keep looking at TikTok and I keep looking over here at my grandmother's hope chest, wondering how much I need that hope chest there or if I need
Salad bar.
an industrial style salad bar. Except it's really just me. And I know that it would go so bad so fast, right? Like I couldn't keep it fresh long enough. But I'm like kind of obsessed with the idea. So then I had to go on Amazon and spend a whole bunch of money. And I have it in boxes over here. I found these like little tackle box style Tupperware where you open it up and there's all these like different containers. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to try that and build like a little in-fridge salad bar thing to make my lunches easier.
Yeah.
So we'll see how it goes. But it still is like, even if you buy like, for me, since it's just me, even if I buy like 1 cucumber, 1 zucchini, like 1 head of broccoli, it's still hard to get through it all. Like when you're buying a bunch, because I like salads with lots of stuff in it. Mm-hmm. But if you put a bunch of ingredients in it, then like it's still hard to use it all before it goes bad.
Right.
So we'll see how it goes.
That sounds like a good compromise, though. I'd be interested to
I mean,
hear.
it's definitely better than like the $2,400, you know, industrial steel salad bar thing that my husband was like, no.
No, absolutely not.
It was like, no,
I
we're
do not blame him at all.
Hamburgers are much easier.
But I don't think I can eat Subway amount of salad, but I was real interested. I'm going to have to post the picture or the video on Facebook because you just see it. And like everyone that sees this video is going to be like, oh, because she had it stocked with like all these fresh veggies and fruits and the kids could just go get whatever they want. Like it was fantastic. And for a mom of 7 or 6 or whatever she had, like it was a good idea.
Right.
But for me,
not so much.
Probably not going to need it, but we'll see how it goes.
It's like the CC's buffet salad bar.
Yeah, it's exactly like that.
At her house.
Yeah, it's cool.
I mean, yeah. I think you'd waste a lot of food, though.
I know.
For sure.
So we'll see how this little tackle box version goes. Okay. I'll report back.
Please do.
Okay. Well, this week we don't have Amanda with us, but we have some very exciting special guests in her place.
Yeah, so we're going to talk about being a grandparent and grandparents in general. So Jordan and I both have a parent here tonight with us to talk about that. My mom, Kathy, is here, and Jordan's dad, Jeff, is here. So
welcome, guys. You want to tell us, Dad, you want to start us off and tell us why you're a hot mess this week?
Yeah, I'll tell you why I'm a hot mess. Once again, I find myself doing something way out of my comfort zone just to satisfy my baby girl.
That's your job as a parent.
I have had a life history of that. Between spending our vacation in Pittsburgh one year, coaching volleyball, president of the community theater, and just numerous crap like that I've been drug into over my life.
The Pittsburgh thing isn't even my fault. You did that to yourself, and now I have to tell the whole story. I heard this stupid scam on the radio when I was like, I don't even know, 13 years old. Like this, it was one of those like scam things where they're like, come to this hotel and audition for a modeling job, you know, and like they do like the mass auditions. And of course I was selected to go to like the national competition in Pittsburgh. He could have easily just not told me I got selected or just been like, no, we're not doing that because that's crazy. But instead, they take me to Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania to like do this silly modeling competition. And
which you got into the finals in.
I did. But my favorite story about that is, so not only did they like go, I would have stopped this, and it's easy for me to say that not being a parent, but I would have stopped this at, we were supposed to fly out of like St. Louis or Kansas City, one or the other, but we got there and it was like icing, it was like a winter storm, and so the flights were canceled. So my parents drive, I think in my mom's tiny little Camaro that was not good on ice, to the other city. Like we were supposed to fly out of Kansas City and we drove to St. Louis to get a flight to go to like I would have been like, okay, can't go. The flights, you know what I mean? Like, let's be reasonable. But my parents like are bending over backwards to get me to this scam thing that I'm sure cost $1 million to get into, right? And then mom's like favorite thing is I did a screen test. I got like chosen, that like all the different casting directors are there. And so I got chosen to do a screen test for Princess Diaries for the best friend in Princess, like the quirky best friend. I did a little reading for that, and for like a Mars commercial or something, a Mars bar commercial. And so my mom always likes to be like, oh, Princess Diaries, you were almost in it. And like, it's like her big claim to fame is I was almost, and I'm like, who knows how many hundreds or thousands of girls read for that part that like I for sure did not get.
So let me tell you the rest of the story. Jordan as a child was uninterested in life.
Exactly as I am now.
Yeah.
I wanted to stay inside and read books.
That's all she wanted to do. That's all she wanted to do. And we were...
Nothing wrong with that.
Nothing has changed.
We wanted to find her something to love, something to be interested in. And so every year it was something different. We did soccer. We did kung fu or something or another. Taekwondo, volleyball, basketball, t-ball.
I hated them all.
And we tried band. Every one of them, she'd be good for about 1-2 practices, then be like, I want to quit.
Sound familiar?
Yeah.
I was the same way.
Yep.
So we were desperate to find something that Jordan would have an interest in. So when she said she was interested in this, it was like, by all means. The other two, her older siblings, were very involved in everything. So it's like, no, well, we're going to make this happen because poor Jordan, she never does anything but sit in her room and read books.
You know what I do as a 38-year-old adult with my own home?
Sit in your room and read books?
Mm-hmm. That's all I do.
That's why we get along.
Did you know, Dad, that when I was at Sunshine Dance, Lauren was also in Sunshine Dance?
I thought I recognized you.
We were in class together.
Yeah. And look at both of you now.
I know.
Lifelong friends.
Yep.
That dance class did a lot of good for you.
Yeah, the whole year I was in it.
Yeah.
I would say neither one of us are most coordinated, but that's okay.
No, not at all.
Kathy, you want to share your hot mess story of the week?
Well, this week I've been trying to clean my house up after last week and weekend, and my husband's chair seems to be blocking one of the rooms that I need to get into, but he sleeps in it most of the days as he's not feeling well. And so this one room just gets piled up and the floor is dirty, and it just is driving me nuts to not be able to just go out in this one room, whereas the rest of the house is getting a little better looking. I might have to move it tomorrow to the middle of the living room.
Make him move
his recliner.
Yeah, move the recliner. Him and the recliner.
Yeah, just move the whole thing. Well, and he's got oxygen tanks now that are in the sunroom, like behind him. They're taking up a lot of space because he has, his like the big one and the portable one. And then when my brother comes to visit from Warrensburg, he brings his whole house, like not just his wife and daughter, but like all the pets.
Oh,
fun. So they have 3 dogs and a cat.
Oh, and he brings the cat.
Yes. And so the cat's litter box is out there in the sunroom, and the cat can get to it, but
no one else can.
No,
the little dogs can.
Well, Abe was out there the other day bothering the cat when it was in the litter box. And I was like, get away
he was the captain
from that cat.
Get away.
Yeah, I love it. Well, we are celebrating, or this podcast is all about celebrating Grandparents' Day, which is on September 8th. So we thought it would be fun to have our parents join us and talk about them as grandparents and our own grandparents and just share some fun stories.
Yeah. What are we drinking this week?
What are we drinking this week? This week, in honor of my dad, we broke open one of his bottles of wine. Dad, tell us what we're drinking.
You bet. This is 2022 vintage J&K Fine Wines Riesling. We do make wine at home for fun, and this is sweeter than I care for my taste. The only thing I'm really disappointed about it is that you didn't serve it in solo cups.
I thought about breaking out your plastic wine cups I bought you, but tonight you got the real stuff.
Yeah, I see that. That's pretty classy.
That's right.
That's
Cheers.
Right. Cheers.
Cheers.
See, I will say this is better than most, because most of your wines are very dry, I feel like.
That's the way I like them.
Not me. I like my liquor to taste like Kool-Aid. So this is better than most. The Riesling's sweeter. So we'll have to remember that. I like the Riesling. It still does kind of dry your tongue after you drink it, though. Like it dries out your tongue.
There is alcohol in it.
Well, there's alcohol in vodka too, but
I know, but it doesn't. Vodka doesn't have tannins and things in it like wine does.
Well, I guess I don't like tannins. I don't know.
Okay.
So, Lauren, were you close to your grandparents?
Yeah, so I had one set of grandparents that I was super close to. My dad's parents, they lived here in Springfield, and we spent a ton of time at their house. It's the house that we live in now, actually.
I love that part of your story.
Yeah, it's pretty special. My mom's parents both passed away before I was even born. Yeah, like super young. I mean, they were also here in Springfield. Yeah, I never got to meet them, but my other grandparents we spent tons of time with them. So like if we had to be babysat while mom went to a PTA meeting, she would bring us into Springfield and my grandparents would keep us. Or I remember staying overnight a lot with my grandma, and she never said no. So if I wanted to tear up her house, like set up a whole store in her house or have a tea party with all the fine china, like it was fine. She was fine with it.
Yep. Yeah. I was really close to one of my grandmothers. My grandfathers both passed away when I was really young. My mom's dad, I only have one memory of him, and I don't even know if it's a real memory, if it's like I just remember people talking about it, but I vaguely might remember going to see him in the hospital, but maybe I just remember people talking about it. I don't really know. But I kind of want to say I remember one of those rosary or whatever they call those, like hanging from his bed or something.
Oh, yeah.
Which seems my mom's very like Irish Catholic, so that seems like right up their alley, like it probably actually happened.
Very possible. Yeah.
Yeah. And then my grandfather on my dad's side, I actually have a lot of fond memories of, but again, I don't ever know if it's my actual memories or people talking about him, because he passed away when I was like 3 or 4. Like I was pretty young.
You were 4 when Grandpa Shackelford died and 5 when Grandpa Hawkins died.
Okay, so this would be my Grandpa Hawkins, I guess I'm talking about. I called him Papa, but he would sing crawfish pie, jambalaya, crawfish pie. He had the song he would always sing to me, and he'd put me on his lap and bounce me. Like I have really fond memories of him. So his wife, my dad's mom, who I call Mima, she passed away. How many years ago was that now?
Oh gosh, been 8-9 years.
Yeah, but so grew up with her.
It was right after Maggie was just born. So what? Maggie just turned 7.
How old is your niece, Jordan?
8, 7, 8.
7-ish.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
You know who's going to tell us all about how old Maggie is?
KK.
Check your post. Yeah.
I was never super close with my mom's mom, but my dad's mom just had a really close relationship with, and she taught me how to wear red lipstick. She we would like stand in front of the mirror, and she taught me like how to do the liner and how to blot, and so all of that stuff. She taught me how to crochet. She taught me how to make sugar cookies. She has like a secret family recipe for sugar cookies that she taught me. Yeah, so super close to her. So many fond memories.
I love that.
Yeah.
I feel like I don't know. I think it's important for little girls to have like that grandma that teaches them.
Yes, to have that. And it's a different, the grandparent relationship is different from the parent relationship. So it's so good. And I love that you live in your grandma's house and like honor that. I have a bunch of my grandmother's stuff, and I don't know why, but she gave me she had like 13 grandkids, but she gave me a bunch of her stuff. So I don't know what she gave the other, I don't know what she gave Jessie.
Was this the grandma with the tape? Or was that?
This is the grandmother so this is my Mima, and she would put tape on the bottom of everything with somebody's name on it because she didn't want anyone fighting when she died.
Great idea.
So I have some of her angels. She had these angels that she collected.
Of course, the reality is nobody else wanted any of that crap.
No, but I have the angels that she put my name on because she collected these silly angels for years. And my dogs are fighting in the background and I won't be able to edit that out. So everyone will just have to know that's the dogs fighting that they're playing in the living room. But she had these angels, and so I still have the tape with her handwriting on the bottom of my angels.
That.
I know, it's actually, and I remember growing up, and my sister and I would like peek at the names and be like, "Oh, do you think we should change the names?" You know, switch them around. But yeah, now it's like something that I'm really fond of, and be able to still have her handwriting is a big deal. But I have her hope chest that she gave me, which is like a cedar nice chest. I have the only original copy of her wedding picture. It's like this tiny little 3x5. I have no idea why she gave it to me and not like her oldest daughter, but I cherish it. It's in my living room.
That's probably why she knew you would.
I have the first gift my papa ever gave my Mima. I think she was like 16, and he gave her this little compact, makeup compact, and you open it up and it's got mirrors in it. It's got all these jewels on top of it. And I have the jewelry my papa gave my Mima when they got married, which is not real jewelry. It's actually just costume jewelry, but it's like this cute little bedazzled choker and bracelet. Yeah, sorry, I can't talk tonight. I've already had too much of this wine, I guess. And bracelet. And they're not real. They're just like costume jewelry, but I have them and
there's sentimental value.
Them. Oh, yeah.
For sure.
So I have tons of her stuff. And I also have one of her depression glass jars, her vases that I use for flowers. Yeah.
Do you have any of her slippers?
I do have one of her purple slippers sitting right next to her wedding picture in the living room. She collected angels in these little glass slippers. Yeah. Were you close to your grandparents, Dad?
I was close to one of my grandparents, my mom's mom. We called her Granny. She passed away shortly after your papa did. I know you got to meet her. She was crazy as a loon, come to find out.
Was she?
Oh, yeah, she was. None of us kids knew that, and I guess actually she spent some time in a mental hospital back when we were little. We were told that she was in California.
Oh.
That's not where the mental hospital was?
I don't know. At this point, it really don't matter. But she was loving. She was lovable. Great cook. I can remember going down to Granny's house in Miami, Oklahoma, and it was always great. It was fun. We loved Granny. Granny loved us. But she was a little crazy. But that's okay. You know, nothing wrong with that.
It's what made her so much fun.
Yeah. And then Grandma and Grandpa Hawkins. Grandpa Hawkins was a man's man, but a lovable guy, good guy. Grandma Hawkins, I can never remember her once showing me any affection, never a hug, never. It may have happened, I just don't remember it. So just to be fair to her. But anyway, but no, Granny was. Yeah, Granny walked on water as far as I was concerned growing up.
Oh, so you had a good grandpa relationship.
I did.
Too.
Yeah,
I did.
Oh, that's so good. Mm-hmm. Kathy, what about you? Were you close to your grandparents?
Not too much either set. One set lived in Florida or Georgia, and my grandpa died when I was about 3, I think, and so I don't remember him at all. And Granny, my dad's mom, that was my dad's parents that lived down there. We loved seeing her, but maybe once a year we'd go down there and spend 2 or 3 months, and then we would see her then.
Oh, that's fun. So like summers.
In the summer.
So did you go with your parents and they stayed with you?
No, my parents, my dad and my sister and my mom and I, we would make a road trip out of it. My dad would call on his clients on the way down. This is when they lived at like Tybee Island.
Oh, okay.
And she actually lived with my aunt and uncle, and they had 5 kids. And so we would stay there at their house, and it was right there on the beach.
So you spent all summer on Tybee Island with your family?
Yeah, the first part of the summer until school started. Then we would come back in August, get ready to go back to school, But yeah, pretty much. We spent several weeks there this summer. And Granny they had a big, huge house. Granny had the only room that had an air conditioner. It was just a little room-sized air conditioner. And so a lot of times we would kind of hang out by Granny's room. It was so hot. And she would be the one, if we ever wanted to go down to the beach, she had to walk us to the beach. It was maybe a half a block. It was just across their front yard, basically. But we always had to have an adult, and she always seemed the only adult home. So that was her. And my other set of grandparents lived here in Springfield, where we lived. And it was my mom's family, and they were kind of like socialite type Springfield couple.
Oh, wow.
Hickory Hills and all that. And so we spent time with them, of course, because they were here, but we just, they didn't feel as much like grandparents as Granny did, even though we only saw Granny once a year. It was kind of different with them. And we'd spend Christmas and Thanksgiving. My grandmother here did not cook, and so they had somebody come in and cook for them and clean their apartment, and not my lifestyle.
Super different. Yeah.
No. But yeah, I mean, we knew them, and all my grandparents, well, those grandparents lived to be in their 80s, so we had them for a while.
Your grandpa, Fred,
yes,
granddad, he
lived,
outlived your mom, didn't he?
Yes, he outlived my mom. And so when he passed away, then I just had my mom's sister, an aunt, and she didn't have any children. And then she passed away, and so that whole family just kind of got wiped out.
Oh, wow.
And at one point they lived in an apartment in the Gray Gables, which is owned by Gilardi's.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Because we had a party there one time.
We did.
Yeah. And so they lived in like that front apartment in that house that Gilardi's uses it for like private parties.
Yeah. How cool.
Yeah.
That's a cute little house too.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like a Victorian.
Yeah, they originally had a house on Walnut, like 3 or 4 houses down. And then when my grandfather's mother died, she was like 103. They sold that house, sold pretty much all their stuff. Really downsized, which, it's like everybody needs to do, make it easier for their kids. But
to the wise.
as it was, they moved into this little 2-bedroom apartment. No, it's actually 1 bedroom, a bathroom, a living room, and a kitchen. 4-room apartment. Perfect for them, easy to keep clean. And like I said, they had somebody cook for them. And my granddad would do the dishes every night. And then he'd take
How
the
nice
trash
would
out.
that be to have somebody come in and cook for you every night?
I know, right?
It was that
goodness.
Sarah Chuger, right?
Yes.
Sarah Groves.
Yeah. Her name was Sarah Grove, and we called her Tuger. And she took care of my grandfather's mother, the one that lived to be 103, because she was blind. So Tuger took care of her. And then when that grandma died, then they basically took Tuger in, except they got her a different apartment. And so, she's still
buried
cooked.
with them at the plot. Yeah, at Hazelwood. She's one of the...
Yeah, she was a little orphan girl that
Oh,
my grandfather's family took in. So
wow. Your whole childhood and family story sounds like something out of a novel.
Yes.
could be, yeah.
Yeah.
That was like a Judy Blume book, doesn't it? Spending summers with your grandparents on Tybee Island. And I mean, that's pretty cool.
Well, and I think when her cousins were in like high school a little bit, well, some of her cousins were a lot older than her, but they owned the Sugar Shack, which is like an ice cream place, and it's still there.
Yes.
We went there when we went to Tybee Island a couple summers ago, and I actually have a friend that lives in Savannah, and she just posted a picture of them at the Sugar Shack the other day, and I was like, oh, my mom's family owned that.
Yeah,
that's so
the
cool.
cousins in Georgia, there was two girls, Susie and Mary, and they were Liz and my age. And then they had two older sisters and an older brother that ran the Sugar Shack. And so usually when we went down there, our parents would get together with their parents, and they would head on south down towards Miami to visit my dad's other sibling that lived in Miami. And so we stayed there with Granny, and then the older ones ran the Sugar Shack.
Oh, wow.
So,
See, Lauren's family is from Miami. Your family's from Miami.
Yeah, I think it's different.
There's a little difference.
There's a difference, yeah.
Yeah, I guess she'd be a great aunt and uncle that lived
in Miami? Yes.
Yeah.
They were both teachers down there and
didn't have any kids, like artists.
Yes, that's right. And they moved, actually, as soon as they retired, they moved to the Gulf Coast to get away from all the people in Miami.
Yeah,
it's a lot.
So, yes, they moved over to Inglewood, which was on the Gulf Coast, and we go see them, too, when they moved down there, so...
Oh, that's cool.
But yeah, my two cousins, Susie and Mary, still live. One lives in Darien and one lives in Brunswick, Georgia. So they still live real close to Tybee.
Mm-hmm. Wow. So you've just always kind of been traveling to see family, and that's just
The South.
wow.
Yeah, mostly the South.
That's neat. I did not grow. I grew up with really the family just here. I mean, I have one aunt who lived in. I can't even remember where she lived, and then she moved to Minnesota. Before that, Grand Rapids.
She was in Grand Rapids, Plano, Texas.
Yeah, so a little bit of a traveler,
Oh, okay.
but she's been in Minnesota for a long time. But like she came here more than we would go see her, you know. And so mostly my family's always been here, so we haven't really done a lot of traveling, or the family we were interested in staying in contact with, right?
Yeah.
At least
Asterisk.
the other family members out there, I'm sure, but.
Yeah, we always, in the summer, when we would head out, we would make a vacation and we would stop like at all the sightseeing, the old plantations in the South. And if we wanted to get out and pick cotton, my dad would pull over on the side of the road and we'd pick cotton.
Oh my gosh.
And we'd stop and get boiled peanuts, and they had all these fruit stands. And, you know, people back then, they would have like a big kettle drum full of peanuts out there boiling, and you could buy a bag of boiled peanuts, munch on them on your trip. And so we would probably take 3 or 4 days just getting to Tybee by the time we made all our stops.
None of my family would ever invite me to come stay with them.
My mom loves to pick raw cotton. Like that's like a thing that she likes to do. Like we'll drive by and she'll see cotton like in the middle on the side of the road on vacation. She'll be like, Jeff, just pull over. I just want to go grab some. And he'll be like, we're not going to get hit. Well, so you can steal somebody else's crop. No.
Right.
I love that.
Yeah. So she has to buy her cotton. She's not allowed to steal it off of the side of the road because Dad thinks we're going to get hit.
Well, what she would do, if I did pull over, she wouldn't have sent one of you kids out to pick it. She wouldn't have got out and picked it.
One of us
I know how that would have worked. Jordan, go get some cotton.
That's funny.
That's hilarious.
Okay, so I would love to hear from you guys. So, Cathy, you have all 3 of your kids have kiddos.
Yes.
So you are a grandma of how many?
7.
7. So that's exciting.
Lauren takes the cake with 4.
I win.
Spencer has 2, and then Colton has 1.
Very exciting. Dad is not so lucky. Only one of his 3 kids has kiddos. But I do think they're the best 3 kiddos in the world. But my sister, Dad, what do you have?
I've got 3. And just to clarify ages, I do remember now. Jolie's the oldest at 9, just started 4th grade. Maggie will turn 8 next month. So she's 7 now and will turn 8 next month. She just started 2nd grade. And Beckett boy, he is 6 and just started kindergarten.
Yeah, I'm actually really sad that Beckett started kindergarten. I know. It's like it's a sad thing.
It's not, though.
He's like not the little baby anymore.
I can't tell you how happy I was when I dropped my last 2 off at school this morning. It was just daycare for like 4 hours. The freedom that I felt pulling out of that parking lot. I can't wait till all of mine are in public school.
Did you celebrate with some 7 Brew or Andy's?
I celebrated by folding laundry. So quite the celebration at my house.
Yeah.
So how is it different, Dad and Cathy? Tell us, how is it different being a grandparent than a parent? Everybody says it's so much better. Tell us how it's different.
It's a lot easier. You don't really ever say no. I mean, unless it's something really bad, but if you want to start a little fire out in the driveway and toast a marshmallow, let's give it a try. We have a 10-year-old grandson that wanted to toast his marshmallows for some s'mores out in the driveway on one charcoal briquette the other day in a wad of paper.
The hospice nurse pulled into the driveway and Mom was like, great, they're going to call DFS. Started 10-year-olds out there playing with lighter fluid or whatever.
To go cigarette lighters.
Yeah.
But no, they're fun because you know that if they're there and they're not being good, they are going to go home at some point. Whereas if they're your own kids, you got to stick with them.
So do you not discipline them because you know they'll go home and you don't have to deal with it?
But it depends. You know, we let them, if they want to try something that even though it most of the time it's safe. I mean, I knew that he wasn't going to really set anything on fire major, even though there were fireworks in the garage about 5 feet away, but still. But yeah, we'll let them try. unless it's, it just depends. If it's something that's going to hurt somebody, then we'll say no. But
Mom didn't say no to us very often as a parent. And so I think she's just even more like forgiving as a grandparent. Mm-hmm. If the kids ever get in trouble at my parents' house, it's usually my dad yelling at them. And it's for like running in the kitchen is a big no-no for, I don't even really know why, but that's a no-no. Can't have drinks or food in the living room. So if they haul their stuff into the living room because they have carpet, like they get yelled at. Or if they're just
loud.
Yeah, being loud and crazy, which they are because they're kids. But especially right now, he has very little patience for them, which is completely understandable. But
well, the little girls like to scream.
Yeah.
Goldie especially.
Yeah.
You can't really tell her no. Like she doesn't
The
get
other
it,
three. We have one that's 8 and 2 that one's 5, 6, and 8, and then Goldie's 1. Mm-hmm. And when you get all 4 of them screaming, that squealy old girl scream just goes right through you.
Yeah.
I think the big difference for me is that, with your grandkids, you just don't have the same worries you did when you were a parent. As a parent, you worry about everything. I think, this kid's going to grow up to be a weirdo. They're not going to have any friends. They're just going to lock themselves in their house and read books when they're 30 plus years old.
You know what? And my friends do the same thing. It's fine.
Well, I didn't know there was other weird people out there. No, you do. You worry about kids. You worry about things. You worry about finances. You worry about money. You worry about all these things. And by the time you get to the grandparent age, you figure out that they're probably going to grow up and be okay, and it really don't matter. Just let them be them. I look back, and we were very young parents, particularly with Josh and Jesse, and
We've talked about your teenage pregnancies on this podcast before.
Have you? Yeah. Okay, cool. We were hard on Josh and Jesse. I have a lot of guilt over that, honestly. By the time Jordan came around, it's already like, yeah, whatever. Just do it. Whatever. But Josh and Jesse, we were probably way too strict on. And, I kind of look at it like, okay, grandkids are kind of your second chance to get it right, You screw up your own kids, so maybe you could do better with the next generation. And it's just much more relaxed.
So Mom and Dad, you guys got married at 18.
Your mom was actually 17. I was she was 18. Was she 18?
I think she was 17
She was 17 and then turned 18 2 weeks later.
Yeah, like 15 days later.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so like basically 18.
I was 19.
And then, you were 18 when you got married, right? And then 19 when you had Josh.
No, I was 19 when we got married. I was
20 when you had Josh, but Mom was still a teenager.
She was still 18.
Still hanging on to that teenage pregnancy.
Mom was 19, the mother of 2.
Yeah.
Oh my.
Yeah.
Because Josh and Jesse are Irish twins, so just 11 months apart. Oh. And so you guys you were so young. And of course, what 19, 20-year-old has any money to begin with? And then to be raising 2 kids.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I found out, so they didn't have me until they were like 25. So I was like 5 and 6 years younger than my siblings. But I didn't realize that when you had just Josh and Jesse, you were also like basically like raising a neighbor kid.
Well, yeah. Your mom, quote, worked from home. So that means she did whatever she could for money without really having a job. And one of those things was one of the girls I worked with, her daughter, stayed with us a lot. Like she'd drop her off and 3 or 4 days later come back and pick her up.
Wasn't the most responsible woman in the world.
She had a lot going on in her life, so let's be fair.
But,
anyway,
I mean, these young kids who have kids of their own are then like half raising this other. Like, I'm pretty impressed with that whole story.
Yeah. And Jenny was about 4 years older, probably, than Josh. So, she was little, and sometimes we'd have her, and we'd just take her with us, just like she was our own, whatever. And people would say, "Oh, your 2 kids." We have Josh and Jenny, and be like, "Oh, your 2 kids, so cute." And we just quit trying to explain it. We just like, "Oh, thanks," and then just go on.
Andy, is he about 6 months younger than Jesse, or like 18 months younger than Jesse?
I think Andy's 18 months younger.
Okay, so my cousin Andy, my mom and my aunt our sisters who are just a couple years apart, and they're like best friends, and
they're 11 months apart as well.
Oh, so they just pack raised those three together. And so they would always like go through. So yeah, so they were young and had a lot of kids they were raising.
Yeah, always a lot of kids. Kids raising kids. There's just nothing good comes out of that,
I don't know. You had 3 successful.
No,
children.
I do.
3 successful
I am
adults.
very proud of my 3 kids. All 3 of my kids have master's degrees. All 3 are gainfully employed off my payroll. That's the most important thing.
Now we keep telling him we want to keep him off of ours.
Yeah.
So if you cannot drain your retirement before you die, that's the goal.
Good luck.
Is that is that a Jeff problem or a KK problem?
Yeah.
That's going to be a KK problem.
Yeah.
As long as I'm alive, I think I can keep the reins on her. But once I'm dead, that money will go quickly. Whatever little bit's left. One thing about it, there's no need to worry about your inheritance because there will not be one.
There won't be one. I'm just hoping that there's no bills.
Yeah.
keep it in the green. Well, Mom was older when she had me. She was 32, and I'm the oldest.
Yeah.
But they were married for 6 years before
Yes.
you had me. It took them a long time to get pregnant.
Oh, okay.
And
I know what that feels like.
yeah,
Okay.
Jordan's going through that now.
We did a lot. We did I helped Lee with his business, and if I got pregnant, fine. If I didn't, fine. It was just as easy to go on a business trip without having to worry about a kid or what I was going to do with them. And so we had fun. And then we had Lauren, and we still had fun, but
Stopped having fun.
I never really babysat.
Lauren killed the fun.
Well, I never really babysat, so I really didn't know what to expect from having a kid. And then Lee's mom was perfect grandma because she knew all about kids, loved kids, and she was always there to help. And I needed help because, like I said, I had Lauren, and then there's only 20 months difference between her and Colton. And Colton was a handful. And so a lot of times she would just come rescue me and take Lauren. And that's probably why Lauren spent so much time with her because I dealt with Colton then.
Yeah, Mom was really close to her mother-in-law, to my dad's
Oh, that's
mom.
nice.
Like,
Because I'd already lost my parents are both gone by then. And so Lee's parents were the ones that were the grandparents.
Yeah, I think Mom was their favorite child.
That's a good point, though. How did your parents help you guys, like having that grandparent in your kid's life? How did that help? Like Lauren went and stayed with.
Yes. Yeah. Lee's mom and dad were awesome because she knew all about kids. And, if Lauren got diaper rash or something, I didn't know what to do. And I would call her and she'd tell me, of course, she told me stuff that they did back in the 40s and the 50s, but I guess some of that still worked, If it got really bad, I'd call the doctor. But she was a big help, just babysitting here and there. And then, like I said, Colton was a handful. And so they would just come get Lauren. And then we waited about, Colton is about 3 years older than Spencer. And then by the time I had Spencer, I was a piece of cake.
You had it figured out.
Yeah. Lauren would ship Lauren off to kindergarten.
So you had to be the older siblings. You had to figure it out. I was the youngest, the baby, by several years. And so I just had it made. Yeah. It was literally whatever she wants.
By the time you get down to that third one, you're just, whatever.
Oh, yeah. Whatever goes. Yeah, I remember mom telling a story about feeling really bad sending me to kindergarten, and there was a book fair, and she didn't know what a book fair was. I think I brought home the little Scholastic flyer or whatever, and she didn't really understand what was going on, and so she didn't send me any money for the book fair. And then when she realized that all the other kids probably had money to buy books at the book fair, she felt super guilty. And then a few years later, she's running the book fairs, right? As a member of the PTA. So it was just that first child, figuring stuff out.
Right.
Yeah. My siblings like to tell me that we had completely different childhoods.
Probably, yeah. Spencer would probably feel the same way.
Yeah. Well, yeah, Spencer had it made because he wasn't a problem at all.
He was a really easy kid.
Yeah, very easy kid. And Lauren was good up until, I don't know.
When did it go south for you, Lauren?
Yeah, it's pretty good these days.
6th grade, 7th grade. It was rough.
Junior high school.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think I had undiagnosed depression, honestly, and probably should have been medicated. And or gotten some treatment and did not. And I think it resulted in just a lot of anxiety and like wanting to be cool. And, it was rough. It was really rough. But
I knew I was never going to be cool. That was just not going to happen for me. Yeah, that didn't happen. I think I was a really good kid.
Well, right up until I got called out of my meeting with chief nursing officer by the Nixa police officer who found you sleeping by the side of the road.
That totally happened. That was college. I'm trying to remember the details of that story. But in high school, I was a good kid.
No thanks to the theater.
That's a school activity.
You would be up there until 1 or 2 o'clock at night doing God knows what.
Painting sets. It was nothing nefarious.
I feel like Jordan was definitely way more behaved than I was.
No,
okay, so in college,
she was a good kid. She really was.
I was taking classes at OTC, and I had it in my mind for whatever reason that I'd take these early classes, and it would I'd have the rest of my day, and I wouldn't have to. That was the dumbest idea, and really, my parents should have been like, "That's stupid. You shouldn't do that." But Mom and Dad never told me no. They were always like, "Figure it out on your own." Well, so then I would miss class, and then my mom would be yelling at me in my room, "You have to go to class. You have to go to class." So I would leave the house, pull around the corner, and sleep in the car until my parents left for work, and then come home and go back to bed. And then one time, I guess somebody reported somebody sleeping. I'm sure I looked like a drunk,
That's the worst story I've ever heard about you.
It's the worst story there is. I feel like that is the worst thing I ever did.
Which is light years better than some of the shit I did. So yeah,
it looks a lot worse, right? Your daughter slumped over sleeping in the neighborhood, but really I didn't want to go to class that early in the morning.
Yeah.
At the time in my career, I was trying to advance myself, and so I had this meeting with the chief nursing officer, which is a big deal, right? I get called to administration for this meeting. We go into the boardroom. I'm sitting there doing my presentation. All of a sudden, the executive assistant sticks her head in. "Jeff, I'm sorry to interrupt, but the Nixa Police Department's on the telephone for you about one of your children." And I'm like, oh, my God. What has Josh done? And
it was me.
And it was Jordan, passed out along the side of the road.
Passed out. I just didn't want to go to class.
Yeah.
Just tired.
Yeah.
Went home and crawled right back in bed.
Yeah. I was mad that night, I think, if I remember right.
I think so. I can't really remember.
Yeah.
I really didn't remember the story until but I was a pretty good kid.
You were a pretty good kid.
Okay.
You were.
You guys only got called once by cops, right? For me?
Cops, or was it you? I remember.
I think I called you from jail.
Yeah.
Oh, no. I've never gone to jail.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Lauren called us from jail one night.
In the middle of the night.
Yeah.
I think I called you from the hospital a couple times.
Yeah. One night we.
Oh, thankfully I've never gone to the hospital either.
Yeah.
Yeah. She called us from Mercy. We went in that night and saw her at Mercy.
And you're like, "You're fine."
We walked out of the room and went back home. Went back to bed.
Yeah.
And then the night she called, our phone rang. This back before we had a cell phone, and the landline rings and middle of the night, and Lauren's on the other end saying, "Well, I'm in jail." In Greene County Jail. And I'm like, okay, do I need to do anything? And I don't remember what you said, but we hung up and went back to sleep.
Didn't even do anything.
Oh, you didn't go bail her out?
Oh, no. Lee said, what was that? And I said, it was Lauren. She's in jail. And he goes, okay. And so we went back to sleep. And then the next morning, I checked with her, and she had gotten out of jail at 6 a.m. And her jail.
I'd walked home because I was living in an apartment right down the street.
Right.
Do you want to tell us the story about how you landed in jail?
Well, I got a DWI.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, it was when I was 20, and I
hit a light pole.
Yeah, I hit a light pole. So I was living. I was going to Drury. And I was living in an apartment at Drury, and I worked at a pizza place, and I just partied a lot. And I was mad. I got my face pierced, and my dad had flipped shit on me for getting my face pierced. Mm-hmm. And we were supposed to be going to New Orleans as a family, on a family vacation in a couple weeks. And we'd had a big fight about him not letting me go on the family vacation unless I took the piercing out of my face. And so I was really upset mad at them. And so I just was like, I'm going to just party extra hard tonight. And I drank a lot. And then my friends that live in the apartment next to me tried to take my keys away. And there was a voicemail of like us fighting over my keys. That was interesting. But anyway, so I took off and I made it just like a few blocks just south of Central High School, and just took my Jeep that I loved. I bought when I was 18, and it was really nice. And I just put it right into a light pole and knocked the light pole over. Oh no! And the cops came and obviously went to jail. I was super, super drunk and just sat in the drunk tank all night. And then they let me out at whatever, like 5 or 6 a.m. I remember the sun was coming up, and I walked back to my apartment with some other girl that they let out of the drunk tank at the same time. And
did you all bond?
It's not the best part of town. So I remember like walking back, and I was kind of like we were going to watch out for each other. Like we wanted to like walk together as opposed to by ourselves, not part of town. But yeah, we definitely. I don't know who it was now, but yeah. So went back to my apartment, and then later that day, my parents showed up, and they were like basically wanted to have an intervention. They're like your Jeep is at a tow yard, like it's totaled. Like we're gonna have to go get that. Like you have to come home, and then like they moved me home, and I took my piercing out, and then I went to New Orleans with them.
Got rid of that piercing.
Yes.
And I didn't drink again until I think I was 21. And then it just changed. I mean, I still went out and partied, but I wasn't nearly as reckless. And now I like barely drink at all.
I never did the go out and drink and party. Like I just never ever did it. I've always said the only times I've ever gotten sick drinking, I was with my dad or my mom. My dad was not at my bachelorette party, but every other time I got sick drinking, I was with my dad. And at my bachelorette party, it was for sure my mom and cousin's fault.
So kids, let this be a lesson. Face piercings are very expensive in the long run.
Yes, they are. They're not cheap.
Stay away from them. Yeah.
My mom made a deal with us. It actually worked for me. So when we turned 15, my sister, well, I guess it started with my sister. When she turned 15, belly rings were really popular. So for my sister's 15th birthday, she got to go get a belly ring. And they had like this little verbal contract that she would get no other she had ears and belly ring, and it was no other piercing, no tattoos. You get in this belly ring, that's the deal.
How did that work out?
And it was I'm gonna tell a story.
Oh, okay.
It was like so cool that she got to have a belly ring, right? And like she was younger than the rest of her friends had a belly ring. So I turned 15, same deal. Got to have a belly ring. And it was like, I was like cool for having a belly ring. You know, like my friends were like, I can't believe your mom let you do that. She actually took you to do that. Oh yeah, she did.
And your mom was a school nurse too, right? So like they all knew her?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, for me, yeah. And when my sister got it, I don't know, she probably wasn't a school nurse, but when my sister turned 15, but by the time I did, yeah. But yeah, so yeah, I mean, my mom was always way cooler than me anyway. Even as the school nurse, she was cooler than me. That's fine.
Pretty popular.
Yeah, that's fine. But but we had these belly rings and it was so cool. My sister, when she was in college-ish, I think, is probably when, I don't know, she got it way before we ever knew about it. She got a tramp stamp tattoo.
Oh.
To this day, she is 42. I'm 38. If my mom starts annoying me or getting on me about something, I will still be like, Jessie got a tattoo. Jessie got a tattoo. Still to this day. And it's like the most disappointing thing any of my mother's children have ever done to her.
That's funny. I will not say whether or not I have a tattoo. I won't admit it. But my dad always told me I could not get one, but yet both my brothers have. Like my youngest brother only has one, but the middle brother, like he has got a ton or several.
I don't think my brother has any, and I don't have any. I really want to get though the permanent eyeliner tattooed on.
That doesn't count as a tattoo.
My mom has it. So technically my mom has a tattoo because she has the permanent
eyeliner. And also
eyeliner.
you're 38. So at this point, I mean, sorry, Jeff, but if you wanted to go get sleeves, like you can do it because you're 38 years old and you can do it.
Yeah, if you want to end your career, you go do whatever you want to do. Like I say, you're just not allowed to move back in. We had this conversation with Thor.
Yeah, my mom and husband like to volley back and forth. My mom always tell him, no returns, Thor, no returns. We're not taking her back. She's your problem. And then like whenever he annoy him, he'll be like, KK, I'm returning her. No return.
No returns.
No returns. Yeah, I don't want any of ours returned.
Yeah.
I don't think at this point we're going to. We come with grandkids. So.
Yeah, you guys have too much package. Yeah. What about you? Did grandparents help you guys raise your kids?
Some, not like the help my daughter gets with her kids, but some. We could call your Mima, and 80% of the time she'd say yes and watch, but it wasn't 100%, and it wasn't guaranteed. And we didn't have this nice little setup where, like, every Saturday night you spend at, Mima and Papa's house. No, that didn't happen. But, they were great. My parents were great grandparents. They really were, but they weren't. They were similar. They had, I don't know how many grandkids they had, 7 or 8, and so they had plenty of grandchildren to spread their love amongst. So. But they were good. Yeah.
I choose to believe I was my grandmother's favorite, though.
You probably were.
I think I was.
I mean, if she put your name on the most items, I think that means that.
Well, I have no idea. I assume she gave other people stuff. Like, I don't know what she gave.
We still think that Jordan just went in and put her name on stuff.
I wouldn't put it past you.
I do at my mom's house because I'll tell KK. So my mom likes to redecorate like every year. I mean, she's constantly redecorating stuff, and she gets tired of her decorations a lot. And so we use like the Mima's old sticker system. And my sister and I will see something we like, and we'll be like, "Oh, just put my name on the bottom of that one, Mom." And so she'll give it to us when she gets tired of it.
Probably ought to start doing that.
Right. I'm going to clean out our house before too long, and
Mom has
lots of stuff.
I am telling you,
another house to move into.
I know it sounds morbid, and we always thought it was morbid, and we would always make fun of my grandmother for it. We'd be like, "Mima, quit putting our names on the bottom of stuff. That's so weird. We don't talk about that." But honestly, when she passed away, those heirlooms that were so important to her, it wasn't a fight. It wasn't a feel bad that we're going to throw away something that felt important to her. It was that your name's on the bottom of it. It's yours.
Makes it easy.
You really did.
Yeah. My parents have been going through tubs and tubs and tubs of stuff my grandma died in 2013, so 11 years ago, and they just now moved tubs of paperwork and pictures and letters. So many letters from when my grandpa was in the military that he sent to my mom's mom, actually, my great grandma.
Yes.
And then my grandma, like, just so much stuff, postcards and just every photos and tubs and tubs and boxes that they just now moved from, like, in the last 6 months from my house to their house to go through.
Yeah.
I got a bunch of that crap in our attic, and you can come get it anytime you want.
I think they've got thrown out a lot of this stuff. I mean, like, just stuff that was trash.
Well, ours, we'll have to go through it together before you get too senile to remember, because we need to go through.
I think we missed that date.
We need to go through all those pictures and, like, write names on, like, figure out who these people are.
Right.
That was one of the things my grandmother always had, like, this green tub full of old photos. And I think that's what my dad's talking about. And we would sit down and go through them with her. And I used to love doing that at her house. And it would just be me and her. And we'd go through all these pictures, and she'd tell me stories about who was in them. And I always used to think that was so much fun. And now I think, like, it's sad because I bet there's a bunch of those people in those photos you don't even know who they are.
I'm sure there's a lot of people
and it's
I
just
don't
like,
know.
oh, it's just history that was lost because nobody wrote it down.
That's right. If I'd hold up a picture and ask Lee, "Who is this?" And if he doesn't know, then I'd throw it away because I don't know. It's his family. And if he doesn't know, he's the last one.
Yeah.
So why pass it on if we don't know who it is? So it goes in the burn pile.
There you go.
I mean, that's my dad's like the last member of he's the last of his siblings that are alive. And and my grandma ended up with just a lot of stuff. Like, both her brothers died, her parents died. Like, so their house, they had a big house, and it just became like the dumping ground for the furniture and the paperwork and everything. And my parents' house is the exact same way. They built their house in 81, right? And then your dad died, mom died, grandfather died,
grandmother died,
aunt died. Like, everybody died within just a few years, and so everything just went to my mom's house because they had the room for it.
That's how my in-laws are. So my husband's family, my mother-in-law, her mother died, and so she still has that whole house full of stuff.
They're in Virginia.
Yep, in Virginia. So she still has her whole house full of stuff. Her uncle, so her mother's brother, had died, so my husband's great uncle, and so she has all of that stuff. Like, she just has, like, multiple family members' stuff.
Right.
one of the best things I think happened whenever my grandmother moved to an assisted living home. And so that was nice. I mean, it was actually really sad whenever we had to put it, because she was really independent, broke her neck. It was really sad, had to go to an assisted living. But it was kind of nice in the long run because she had to pare down so much of her own stuff. And so you got rid of a lot of the clutter that way. And she really only had the things she loved at that point. And then when she passed away, it was very much almost everything she had someone's name on it. Like, she'd already given me like the chest and the wedding pick, all the stuff she really cared about people having. I think she'd already given people. And so that was nice to just not have to deal with all of that clutter and that mess.
It's a better way to do it.
Yeah.
It's a better way to do it.
If you'd come get those boxes out of my attic now, you wouldn't have to do it later.
We'll start going through it on Sundays, Dad, and we'll write down people's names.
Boy, sounds like fun.
It will be fun. I'll have fun.
I'm looking forward to going through the boxes that they've kept. Like the military memorabilia is really cool, and pictures of family. I'm into like genealogy though, and I'm into
Me too.
like
seeing
how, oh my gosh, my kid looks just like this great grandparent or whatever. Yeah. Like, I'm really into that.
My brother and I are both kind of into the genealogy. Just neither one of us had the time to like really dig into it. We've both kind of tried and kind of failed at like the whole ancestry.com genealogy.
Yep.
But if we can sit down and like write down names on pictures and like organize it all. We did find, after my grandmother died, we found a bunch of letters, love letters that we didn't know existed. So I have some framed in my hallway from my grandfather to my grandmother when they were teenagers or like young.
Yeah, they weren't real spicy romantic though. Yeah,
they were not super romantic. It was just like, this is what I did at work this week. Yeah. You know, like it was like very. But I thought they were so sweet. My grandmother would be so appalled. She would literally roll in her grave if she knew that I had those on display. But I love them. I think they're beautiful. I framed them for her funeral and then just kept it.
We have a lot. Lee's dad wrote to his mother-in-law and to his wife, and he was overseas quite a bit, and he was stationed different places in World War II. And when I read these letters, I'm like, this was him? This doesn't, these are so
my
mushy.
father-in-law?
Yeah, these are so mushy. I just couldn't imagine this being him, but it was, it signed love, sweetie, or start out, hello, sweetie. And, and I'm just like, what? This isn't him, but I have a bunch. And even to the mother-in-law.
Yeah, my grandpa brought my grandma's brother's body home. And that's how they met. Like because he died in pilot training, right?
Right.
At like not a basic training, but I guess it'd be like at tech school or whatever for the Army Air Corps.
Right.
And he died on like one of his last like training missions. And my grandpa was the one that brought his body home. And that's how he like met my grandma's family.
Oh, wow.
And then, and so then
what an interesting meet cute.
I know. Not super cute, but, and so he was like a brother. And then all of a sudden, they were like, decided they were in love. And like, she was teaching at Crane and her family lived in like northern Missouri. Yeah, Cameron. She only taught a semester. And then after that, he was like, let's get married and like, she quit teaching and they were married and they were gone. They weren't here anymore. So,
wow.
Yeah.
Got married, got pregnant.
Yeah.
That's how that goes.
Had my aunt. I think my aunt was born in 45.
Wow.
And they got married in 45 or something.
Yeah. 11 months later or something like that.
Yeah.
Wow. That's incredible. Mm-hmm. So what's it like seeing your spouse as a grandparent?
Lee's always been wanted to be a grandpa.
Has he?
Yes.
I can see that.
He loves kids. Spencer was the one that actually had the first kiddo. And they got pregnant before they even were married. They'd been dating a while.
Mm-hmm. No, they'd been dating 3 months.
3 months? Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
It's your version's better, Kathy. It's fine.
And so Spencer told me, and then he's like, well, I guess I better tell Dad. I said, he's going to be so excited because he's always wanted a grandkid.
Oh.
And so I guess Spencer went out on his day off and was telling Lee that he had something to tell him, that someone was pregnant, or he's going to be he says, well, you're going to be a grandpa. Lee's like, okay, so Lauren's going to have a baby. And because Lauren was getting ready to marry Travis.
My first husband, yeah.
And because they were married in June of 13? Mm-hmm. Okay.
And Oliver was born in October of 13.
Yes. So, and And Lee's like, okay, so Lauren's going to have a baby. And Spencer's like, no.
And Spencer lived with me at the time.
Yeah. No. And he goes, no, Margot's pregnant and we're going to have a baby. I mean, Lee was excited. Anytime a baby's born, he's excited.
Oh, yeah.
I babysat for 14 years, and he really enjoyed all the kids I babysat, just like they were his kids, his grandkids.
Oh,
I think he donates to St. Jude's every time he has a healthy grandbaby born. Too.
Oh, I love that.
He sends a donation to
Yeah.
St. Jude's.
We just donated, let's see, we did a job not too long ago for a company, and we donated part of that to St. Jude. So
Yeah.
that's kind of who we go for the kids. But yeah, I mean, Lee would take hundreds of grandkids probably. He wanted 6 kids, and I'm like, no. We're only going to have, when Spencer was born, I'm like, I'm done.
Yeah.
That was 3's enough.
36.
But yeah, he likes being a grandpa. And even today, he'll say, well, who's coming out tonight? Who's going to? I said, well, nobody. In fact, I'm going in town tonight. And he's like, well, so we're not going to see any grandkids? And I'm like, not tonight, I don't think.
Oh.
But yeah, he really likes them.
I love that.
Being married to your mom, it's seeing her as a grandparent. It's like that constant reminder that you're not good enough. That I'm not. Because they all just love her, and I think she's the best grandmother in the world.
She is.
I'm just there because I carry a credit card.
Yep.
Basically. No, I know the kids love me, but they've got such a special relationship with their KK. There's no competing with that. There's just not,
You can't.
No, so, I love it. I love that I hope my grandkids have great memories of coming to our house and growing up there, and even some of the stupid stuff we do sometimes, and
Like
some of
those
the
stupid
things we
Easter
do.
balloons in the
Yeah,
yard.
the stupid Easter balloons. Oh my gosh, you guys have talked about the Easter balloons. I think I've heard that before.
KK wanted to tie a balloon to every.
But not wanted to. Did.
Oh, she
does.
does.
She did.
Every year.
Think about logistically how hard it would be to tie a balloon to an egg.
Like the blow it up with helium, tie it to the egg, put them around the yard, keep them from blowing away.
Oh my gosh.
It does not work out.
Yeah.
It's never once been the picture perfect.
In early April, when the wind's blowing,
and it's
20 miles an hour.
cold.
And,
Yeah.
It's miserable.
I can't imagine.
Every year she's out there doing that. We've all quit helping.
yeah.
I was going to say next year, call Oliver, my grandson. He likes Scotch tape really well. And he would be happy
There you
to take
go.
those balloons to the egg.
Start
Well,
taping them. Yeah.
We tape them, but they
Okay.
just don't hold with the
No.
wind blowing like
No.
it does. Where we live kind of on top of a hill in a very open area.
Mom really is an incredible grandmother, and it's been like so much fun. Even though I don't have kids yet, and even if I don't ever have kids, like it's been so much fun watching my mom get to be a grandmother. I mean, she really just lights up when those kids are in the room. I mean, it is nothing like the joy her own kids brought her. I mean, it's really very different.
It is.
She's so excited for them, and she does. Like they will argue. Like there have been times I've literally heard my sister and my mom will be like, "Well, can the kids just stay over tonight?" And my sister will be like, "No, because they're my children and they're coming home with me." Like they've literally had like that argument, and the
We
kids
do not have that problem.
All 3 kids have their own beds at my mom's house. So Beckett has his bedroom, and the girls have their bedroom that they share. And like it's very much like she's ready. She's ready for them to move in anytime. I mean,
And they're not guest rooms. They are
No,
the
they're
kids'
their kids' rooms.
bedrooms.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're not to that extent yet.
They're not,
Yeah.
but my mom was. I even growing up, I always said like my mom's the best. Like she's an amazing mom.
Yeah.
My dad was. It was a lot harder to get along with him. He was the disciplinarian. He worked a lot, and so it's been fun seeing my mom, who was like this amazing mother, get to be an amazing grandmother. And like it's really not like it doesn't feel that different on my end from how she was as a mom, because she's just like super caring and doesn't say no, and like it's just so giving. My dad, though, on the other hand, it's been very different to see him from going from being a dad and being like super strict, and then seeing him being this like incredibly loving grandfather, and the kids just they love him, especially the boys. Like he'll take him out, or even my brother's daughter. It's technically his stepdaughter, and she just moved from England last year, and like she wants to mow with my dad. Like she likes to go out on the riding mower and like ride around the yard, or I have pictures of the kids in the skid steer with my dad, like just helping him out around the house, and they carry around like the machine parts he makes, and even Goldie likes the little like parts that he still makes. So I don't know. It's been fun seeing like my mom is, I knew she was gonna be the best grandma like ever. My dad, it's been fun seeing him be kind of a totally different person with the kids.
Well, that's one of the reasons I really wanted my dad to come podcast with us tonight instead of my mom, even though my mom was like, are you kidding me? I'm the kid's favorite. And she is the kid's favorite. She is. Mm-hmm. And I mean, even like those girls, I mean, they love me, don't get me wrong, but they don't need me. They need their KK. Beckett's the only one who has any time for Jordy. And so, which...
Jordy is Beckett's favorite, and he'll tell you that.
Mm-hmm. He will. He tells his mom that, too, and it's like my favorite thing in the world.
Yeah.
That's really sweet.
He'll outgrow that. Yeah.
The other, it was my sister's birthday a couple weeks ago, and my brother-in-law was like, Beckett, it's your favorite person in the world's birthday today. And he goes, it's Jordy's birthday? And I was like, yes, win for me.
Yeah.
But my dad, even though KK can sometimes steal all the oxygen out of the room because the kids adore her, he is such a good grandparent. And one of the things that I have really liked seeing is my dad was also like the world's best dad growing up. Like you grew up climbing, like when I was growing up, you were climbing the corporate ladder. You put yourself through school. I remember you worked nights and were in nursing school at the same time and still had time to take me to the Ozark pool every day in the summer. And you did all the dad
I would
things.
Ignore you if you would have drowned out there. I would have never known the difference. But yeah.
You were studying or sleeping.
I got you there.
But I remember, even though you were climbing the corporate ladder and you were doing all this amazing stuff at work, you still never missed a single play. You never missed a single game. I mean, whatever any of your 3 kids, and you had 3 busy kids, you were there for them no matter what. And that is one of those things. And you were just always available. I could come to you and tell you anything. And it was never like, this is a mom conversation or this is a dad conversation. In our house, it was just very much equal parents.
Like the time you put antifreeze in your engine oil hole.
I don't even remember that. Did that happen?
Yes, that happened.
Was that was it a Cobalt?
It was it was this little white car that you had.
Oh, it was the first car I ever had. It was, I don't remember what it was, but it was like this giant white thing, which is good because I'm a terrible driver. Like I'm still a terrible driver, but when I was 16, I hit just about every single thing I came across. Usually at low speed, so it was fine. But I was a bad driver,
including cats and mailboxes.
Yeah, I did.
I hit an animal last night.
Oh no!
I don't know. I think it was a squirrel.
Oh,
I haven't done that in a really long time, but. I mean, we can't make a whole podcast without me talking about dead animals.
No, we sure can't. I was just thinking, yes, Robin, we sure did circle back to dead animals.
Just reminded me.
But so Dad bought this big white car, I think primarily because it had this big plastic bumper on it. And so it was hard to damage it, or it was hard to make damage on other things. So it ended up being a really good idea. But it was this old... That's my neighbor's motorcycle, if anyone can hear it. The windows are open, but I'm refusing to close the windows and turn on the air conditioner because it's so nice out. So we're just dealing with it.
It's fine.
But my dad bought this like old junker white car, but it like leaked all kinds of stuff. So it was constantly overheating. And here I am, the 16-year-old girl, don't know what I'm doing. And my dad's like, here, take this gallon of whatever, and you put it in this hole. And sometimes I forgot which hole I was supposed to put stuff in. This is not my fault. Again, this is like so not my fault. This is you sent a 16-year-old out on the road with a random gallon of things that I was supposed to. And I was like, wait for the car to stop smoking.
Attention to the instructions.
Wait for the car to stop smoking. And then you pop the hood and pour this gallon of stuff in and then you're fine. And it was like.
Yeah. It's not that complicated.
It was complicated for 16.
Evidently it was. So.
Anyway, so my dad was, you were such an amazing parent growing up. I mean, I never felt like, I hear so many people talk about, men not being as engaged in the family unit or dads being standoffish or authoritarian. And I never felt that way with you. I was his favorite. I still am his favorite. So I am his favorite kid.
I think I knew that.
But I never felt that way. I always felt like he was this equal, co-parent with my mom. And he's the exact same way with his grandkids. I mean, it is so much fun to see, like, he'll light up and have the girls come tell him stories, and he gives them money, and it's just so much fun to watch.
I got to bribe them to pay attention to me. It's basically what it is.
So we all have to bribe them to get them away from Cathy and spend time with us. But it's been so much fun to watch my dad get to experience, that fun part of parenthood. I feel like you get to graduate from being a parent to a grandparent. It's like a reward.
It is a reward. I do think it's a reward. That's what I always said. I said, that's God's gift to you for not killing your own kids. Whenever
And you tried a few times.
Oh, I've tried. I've tried.
We did tell the story in this podcast once about you blowing up the gas station with your toddlers in the car.
Yeah, they survived it.
They did.
They
some way,
survived
somehow.
it. They got ice cream out of it.
Yeah, they did. They sure.
I mean, as long as they got ice cream.
Yeah.
On that sound, we will maybe count that as a Hot Mess Express of the week again. No, I'm kidding. We won't do that to you again, Dad. Again. You've been our Hot Mess Express of the week before. But this week, I thought it would be so much fun since we've been talking about grandkids and grandparents to hear about some stupid kids. What do you guys think?
Let's do it. I love stupid kids. I have 4 of them.
Okay.
I've got 3 of them.
So Sky News posted in July of 2024 this headline: high school students in Japan taken to hospital after eating super spicy crisps. Have you guys seen like the really spicy Doritos or the spicy chip challenge, the 1 chip challenge where it's like so hot and these people... So this was apparently so hot it sent the kids to the hospital.
What?
You want to hear the story?
Yeah.
Okay, here we go. More than a dozen students have been taken to the hospital after they became ill from eating extremely spicy crisps, reportedly given out by a fellow pupil for fun, officials in Japan have said. A high school in Tokyo called for help on Tuesday after lunchtime after 13 girls and 1 boy, all first-year students, complained of nausea as well as stomach and mouth pain, Japan Today said, quoting the city fires department and local police. The ages of the students are unclear, but Japanese high school begins at age 15. The company that makes the snack said in a statement on Wednesday it apologizes for any inconvenience to customers and sincerely wished for the swift recovery of those who have reported feeling unwell. One Twitter user posted a video of him eating one of the crisps in which he screwed up his face after swallowing, then moaned repeatedly before collapsing in giddy laughter. Oh, and I just showed the video, so we'll have to post that in the Facebook group. The company's website forbids under age 18 from eating R18 plus curry chips due to their extreme spiciness and urges spice lovers to eat with caution. The crisps are so spicy that they may cause you pain and should be avoided by those with high blood pressure, weak stomachs, and anyone with cuts in their fingers. Be careful handling them.
Why would any company make that? Because why would anybody buy it?
Right.
I know. Well, that's the thing is like, are you a hot mess because you bought it, the dumb kids who bought it? Are you a hot mess because you're the dumb kid who watched your friends eat it and then you still ate it? Or is the hot mess the company that was dumb enough to make this?
I guess if people are willing to buy it, you'll make it.
That's, anything for money, right?
Yeah. Somebody makes that hooch up there on that shelf that is true. Nasty.
The Malort?
Yeah. And evidently somebody buys that crap.
Is dumb enough to buy it and then take shots of it.
How mad would you be if you got called from the school saying your kid ate a spicy chip and got taken to the hospital and you had to, now you have that copay, you have the hospital bill.
I'd probably be like my parents when they came and I was drunk in the middle of the night and be like, bye.
This
sucks for you.
This was a stupid thing you did.
Bad choices.
Well, no matter how rough your week was, you probably, A, didn't eat a chip that was so spicy you had to go to the hospital, and B, probably didn't get a phone call from your kid that you had to go pick him up from hospital from eating a spicy chip. So It can always be worse. Give yourself a little grace.
It could.
Dad and Cathy, thank you both so much for spending time with us. This was so much fun.
Well, thanks for having us.
Thank you.
We want to thank all of our listeners for hanging out with us this week. We look forward to hanging out with you guys in the Facebook group this week. And of course, you can always post episode ideas there and tell us all about your own grandparents or your kids' grandparents and
or your
what you love about them. Or your grandkids.
Yeah.
Tell us all the stories. We're excited to see them. You can always email us episode ideas or feedback, hotmessroundtable@gmail.com. And everybody have a great week. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.